Dr. Martin here. I have made every gut mistake you can imagine. I lived with daily bloating, that heavy, tight belly that made jeans impossible, and I tried quick fixes until I learned the real rules. If you are over 40 and you think your digestion is just getting worse because of age, stop right there. Persistent bloating, reflux, unpredictable stools, and fatigue are not a sentence. In this video, I will walk you through 8 shocking gut mistakes that could ruin your health after 40 and what to do instead. I will show you how simple changes to fiber, probiotic choices, antibiotics, and meal timing can reduce inflammation, calm fermentation, and support your microbiome. I say this from clinical work and from nights when I could not sleep because of cramps. You will get a clear action list you can use in the next 72 hours. First up is the one most people get wrong: thinking fiber is always the hero. Let us start with mistake number 1. Mistake number 1 is assuming fiber fixes everything. Everyone preaches more fiber, yet for many people over 40, fiber is the match that lights off fermentation and bloating. Why it happens is straightforward. Years of stress, acid-suppressing drugs, and prior antibiotics change bacterial balance. When someone with small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, SIBO, adds a high FODMAP fiber or an unfermented supplement, bacteria ferment those fibers in the wrong place. That creates gas, pressure, and pain. Picture Sarah at a family dinner, feeling her belly swell like a balloon, hearing the soft gurgle of her gut, and tasting the metallic reflux at the back of her throat. You should see, smell, and feel these reactions to recognize them. Clinically, I test tolerance first. Practical steps: 1. Reduce high FODMAP foods for 2 weeks. 2. Focus on easily tolerated fibers like cooked carrots and peeled zucchini. 3. Add prebiotics slowly and in tiny amounts only after symptoms calm. Contraindications include severe constipation where some soluble fiber helps, and situations where a clinician finds different causes. A short backstory here. I once recommended a popular fiber powder to Miguel, who was training for a marathon. Within 48 hours, he had sharp gas, sleepless nights, and missed runs. We stopped the powder, gave glutamine and zinc carnosine, and switched to small amounts of sauerkraut and stewed vegetables. Within a week, his bloating improved. That combination of sensory cues, smell of sauerkraut, warmth of cooked food in his mouth, and the lightness he described was a clear sign. So do not assume more fiber equals safer gut. 2. Mistake number 2 is trusting shelf probiotic pills as a cure-all. Most off-the-shelf probiotics have low doses, strains that do not colonize for everyone, and sometimes the wrong bugs for someone with SIBO. Consumers open jars hoping for miracle results and then get worse bloating. The alternative is targeted approaches. Use fermented foods like kefir or properly prepared sauerkraut when tolerated, or a clinician's
guided probiotic with specific strains and doses after testing. Small case example. Priya tried 3 brands, felt slightly better, then worse, then switched to a structured kefir plan and reported steadier stools. Practical tip: keep a food diary and do a 2-week trial with 1 change at a time. If this is resonating and you have been living with pain or embarrassment from your gut problems, I want to hear from you. If you have spent nights awake with cramps or left dinners early because of bloating, I see you. Comment below with your main complaint using 1 word: inflammation, reflux, gas, constipation, or pain, so I can quickly find similar stories. Tell me also what you have tried in 1 short sentence. Your replies help me choose topics I dive into next, and they help others see they are not alone. I read many comments, and my team compiles common patterns to design future videos, so your voice matters. Sharing a small detail can change how I plan a deep dive into SIBO testing or a step-by-step on intermittent fasting for gut repair. Thank you for trusting this space. Now let us continue with mistake 3. 3. Mistake number 3 is buying into detox cleanses and colon cleanse that promise instant reset. The reality is, these products can strip protective mucus, alter bacterial balance, and increase inflammation if used incorrectly. Some people feel temporary relief because of reduced food volume, but then rebound with worse fermentation. Exceptions exist for short, medically supervised bowel prep before procedures. If you feel compelled by a cleanse, choose a gentle approach. Increase water, eat simple cooked vegetables, and prioritize fermented foods in tiny amounts to support healthy microbes rather than aggressive purging. The smell of strong herbal teas and the sharp taste of lemon may seem cleansing, but they can irritate sensitive mucosa. When in doubt, consult a clinician. 4. Mistake number 4 is overusing antibiotics as a quick fix. Antibiotics can be life-saving when needed, but repeated courses rewrite your microbiome, reduce diversity, and can set the stage for long-term SIBO, candidiasis, and persistent symptoms. I often hear James say, "I was on antibiotics for a sinus infection and never felt right afterwards." That is common. If you need antibiotics, follow 3 rules. 1. Use only with clear bacterial infection confirmation. 2. Pair with targeted probiotic strategies afterward that a clinician recommends. 3. Consider supportive nutrients such as glutamine and zinc carnosine to help mucosal healing. Sensory note: visual signs like pale stools or dull appetite after a course should prompt follow-up. Alternatives to antibiotics for some chronic issues include targeted topical treatments or watchful waiting with symptom control when safe. 5. Mistake number 5 is masking reflux with antacids without finding the cause. Many people over 40 reach for antacids and proton pump inhibitors thinking reflux is acid overproduction. Often the problem is low stomach acid or impaired bile flow and poor motility, so acid suppression
only delays diagnosis and worsens nutrient absorption. I have seen patients who started betaine and digestive enzymes under supervision and improved motility and reflux, but do not self-medicate. If you have heartburn with weight loss, bloody stools, or difficulty swallowing, see a doctor. Sensory descriptions here include the sour taste in the mouth, the burning heat in the chest, and the tightness that wakes you at night. Those signs guide safe decisions. Short-term antacid use when needed is fine, but long-term use must be reviewed. 6. Mistake number 6 is following a low-fat diet thinking it is always healthier for the gut. Fat triggers bile release, which is essential for fat-soluble vitamins and proper digestion. But extreme low-fat diets can disrupt bile flow, impair microbiome diversity, and reduce satiety, leading to more snacking and fermentation. Practical approach: eat real fats from sources like butter, avocado, and fatty fish in moderate portions. Avoid processed low-fat products that add sugar. And if you have gallbladder issues, work with your clinician on bile support. Example: Carla switched from a very low-fat plan to a balanced plate with salmon and reported less mid-afternoon hunger and less bloating. Sensory cues include the silky mouthfeel of olive oil and the satisfying texture of roasted nuts, which often reduce overeating. 7. Mistake number 7 is relying on generic balance messages and packaged superfood shakes instead of whole foods. A shake with marketing claims may be full of isolated fibers, artificial sweeteners, and problematic prebiotic ingredients that feed the wrong bacteria. Real food meals with texture and variety help regulate fermentation and encourage diverse microbes. Replace a processed shake with a bowl of bone broth, soft-cooked vegetables, and a modest portion of well-cooked meat or legumes, depending on tolerance. In a community example, I worked with Omar, Hannah, and Lisa, who all reported that replacing a daily superfood shake with a homemade kefir smoothie plus fruit reduced gas and improved morning energy. Taste the difference, notice mouth texture and the warmth of a soup that signals slower digestion and often less bloating. 8. Mistake number 8 is ignoring meal timing and sleep. Intermittent fasting can be powerful for resetting circadian rhythms and reducing nighttime reflux. But if done improperly, it increases stress hormones and worsens SIBO symptoms. For those over 40, start gradually with a 12 to 14-hour overnight fast and prioritize sleep hygiene. Practical steps: 1. Finish large meals 3 hours before bed. 2. Try a controlled trial of intermittent fasting under guidance. 3. Support with magnesium and avoid stimulants late in the day. Signs that timing is helping include improved morning appetite, reduced nighttime reflux, and steadier energy through the afternoon. Throughout these mistakes, I want to name concrete actions you can take in the next 72 hours. Here is a short checklist you can use now. 1. Track 3 days of food and symptoms, including time of meals and sleep patterns. 2. Remove one suspect item for 48 hours, such as a fiber supplement or a daily probiotic, and note changes. 3. Add one repair step like a tablespoon of fermented sauerkraut or a small serving of kefir if tolerated, or begin a gentle intermittent fasting window of 12 hours. 4. If you are on chronic antibiotics or acid suppressors, ask your clinician about testing for SIBO and about supplements such as glutamine, zinc carnosine, and betaine to support mucosal healing. These are practical, measurable steps that do not require extremes. Before I close, a quick clinical simulation with dialogue so you can rehearse a conversation with your clinician. Patient says, "I am constantly bloated. What should I do first?" Clinician replies, "Tell me what you eat and when." Patient answers, "I take fiber powder and a probiotic every day." Clinician asks, "Have you tried removing one at a time and tracking symptoms?" Patient replies, "No, I thought more was better." Clinician says, "Let us pause the fiber for 2 weeks and test for SIBO if symptoms persist." Patient asks, "Will that fix my reflux?" Clinician answers, "Sometimes reflux improves when we fix motility and acid balance, but we will monitor and add betaine only under supervision." This exchange shows the practical back and forth and the sensory cues like pain location and taste changes that guide choices. In closing, recap. Emotionally, if you want less bloating, less reflux, and higher energy after 40, stop these mistakes and start with small, targeted changes. Quick, actionable summary. 1. Trial removing problematic fiber supplements. 2. Avoid random probiotic pills until you test or try fermented foods. 3. Be cautious with cleanses and antibiotics. 4. Address reflux causes, not just symptoms. And 5. Prioritize whole foods, fats, and sensible meal timing. If you want more step-by-step protocols, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you do not miss the deep dive series where I go through SIBO testing options, practical probiotic protocols, and recipes like easy kefir smoothies and a gut-calming bone broth. Leave a comment with your keyword, and I will read and use it to plan episodes. Remember, your microbiome is not fixed. It is responsive to small, consistent choices. Your gut is not a sentence. It is a map to a better life.